Hey everyone, Once Bitten here, the Battle Report. So this is kind of an interesting game here. I'm using the Empire of Sonnstahl army, and I'm facing a Beast Herds army. Now, if you watch my channel, you know that lately I've been playing almost exclusively Beast Herds. Um, so the guy I'm playing is the one. How do I say it? One thing, he's a top U.S. ranked tournament player. He normally plays ogres. Um, I played him recently with my Beast Herds, and he won, but it was because I just played flippantly. We played a game that I didn't make a battle report out of, where using my Beast Herds, I beat his ogres. He conceded middle of turn two, and so he said, I don't really have an idea of how to beat this particular build, so why don't I play the basically your list, and then you play against it. So yeah, that's what we tried. So I brought out Empire. I'll admit right up front that I wasn't using a lot of their synergies and special rules very well because I didn't really know them. I kind of read them once, and I'd read them and didn't really think about how it might play out in the game. Anyway, we rolled up for normal deployment, and there's two objectives on the table that give extra points. His list starting on the right, he is basically using my old list. He tweaked it a little bit. So the Centaur Chieftain, yes, he has the totem, he has the Impaler. That's the item that my opponent's really concerned about. It always hits on a 3-up. Range is only 18 inches, but it's basically a mobile bolt thrower, strength 6. He's got two Razor Tusks, huge unit of Wild Horns. They have the Banner of Discipline, and he's got all three characters in there. So he has a Beast Lord up front. He's weapon skill 10 with an extra attack. I think that probably, I would assume, boosts his initiative 1 as well, being an extra hand weapon. I'm not sure. But then he's got the 4-up regen and then a 2-up ward save against anything flaming that would negate the regen. So it's a very good defensive build. It's not a bad offensive build. It's kind of just a good build. He has a level 2 Path of Death guy in there, and he has the Pillager icon, so that's going to make all these chariots and Razor Tusks get to Vanguard. And Lore of Death. Now his list, I like what he did. I tried it once and I wasn't able to really get it to work. But basically, this army has a lot of terror causers. Fear in this current iteration of the rules is automatic -1 leadership. Lore of Death, the path attribute is you can lower a unit's leadership by 1. And then, of course, he has the Jabberwock, which lowers your leadership by 1. So that's a possible -3 leadership. It doesn't matter if you're steadfast. Pretty brutal. He has his BSB with the +1 strength banner hiding out in the second rank. Got two chariots. Then he has a unit of 8 minotaurs. They have the speed totem, so extra d6 on the turn they charge and +3 to their initiative if you get the totem off. Let's see, he's got a giant that's hidden by a tree that he's holding up. Then he has the Gortak. And then there's the Jabberwock, and then there's another giant. And of course, the giants he's playing over, so they Vanguard as well. So after, well, I'll show you a picture of Vanguard in a second. So I've got, now this army list I literally pulled off of the Ninth Age website. I went to the Empire of Sonnstahl forums. I went to the army list. I pulled the very first one. It was very similar to lists that I used to play back when I played Warhammer Fantasy. So there's a unit of 5 Rangers, then a unit of, I believe, 40 halberds. What is that? Heavy infantry with halberds. So I've got my little buff mobile there. 2 units of militia behind them. Each one, they're all housing characters. So I've got a level 2 lore Path of Heavens in each of those. One of them has a scroll, and in the frontmost one, I also have a battle standard bearer. He's designed to kind of be up where the action is, but I just couldn't. I didn't like my deployment at all. I'll tell you why in just a second. Anyway, unit of knights in front of him. That has my general, which is a knight commander. He's got a 4-board and a halberd. On the left, the weird-looking one is just a mortar. There's a cannon in front of it. Then there's a unit of Imperial Guard with great weapons, another unit of Rangers, and then a steam tank. So overall, it looks like that. So a couple thoughts. One, I know my opponent has 2 ambushing units of Shorthorns, which aren't really that threatening. I don't fear them at all against most of my units, but I do fear them against all the fragile stuff I have sitting back there. So I felt the need. I have my steam tank on the steel tank on the left, who has the random movement, so I'm not worried about them coming in over there. But on the right, I just don't really have any good choices of how do you hold off ambushers that can come on the right hand side and then immediately start charging what those the units with my spellcasters and the war machines and all that. So what I did was I backed up on the very back line so he couldn't come up directly behind me, and then I just kind of sat still, um, which I don't like playing that way. But again, I didn't know what to do to protect those fragile units. Anyway, this is what the board looks like after Vanguard. Pillager icon moves up 2 chariots. One of them's just that green base. Sorry, I brought my army in, and he didn't tell me this list ahead of time, and I didn't bring enough chariots. Um, and then the giants vanguarding up. It's just all around fairly brutal. So this is Empire of Sonnstahl turn 1. And I don't really move. I just sit right there. I don't want the steam tank going away from the back lines. I want him sitting there, so when his basically to keep him from ambushing over there. Actually, in hindsight, though, I don't know why I cared, because if I was going to keep the Imperial Guard back anyway, then I don't need the steel tank protecting me. What I should have done is move that Imperial Guard forward, put the steel tank behind it. I could still shoot, and just let him be back there. Then that would have protected my left flank. Oh well, that's what I did. So I open up the shooting and kill a giant, and that was so basically I have 2 cannons and I have the steel tank. So it took 2 shots to kill this guy because he has 5 wounds, and then I want to say I put 4 wounds. I put 2 wounds on the Gortak. So I was happy with that round of shooting. I can't complain about that one bit. We go to Beast Herds turn 1, and yeah, they do what they do. They immediately put pressure. His troops come up as far as they can. His chariots and his razor tusks are up. They're just kind of a hassle, because if I charge them anything, then I'm just going to get countercharged by big blocks of troops. And if I don't charge them, then they're going to start charging stuff like cannons and my buff mobile and stuff like that. Over on the left, he charged with, I think, the farmost giant and my what are these guys called? Rangers failed their terror test and ran there. And he decided to bring in 1 unit of his shorthorns over here on the far left just so they can secure that objective. I think that's very smart on his part, because I don't think it would have done him any good to come up behind me on my left, and he only needs 1 on my right. So I thought that was a good idea, and these guys came up on my right. So my thinking again was just cause a panic, and there's a good chance they're going to flee off the board. I'm not worried about him charging my halberd unit. He can charge that all day if he wants. So we go to Empire turn 2. So yeah, so I did what I typically do, and so I charged stuff. So I charged the halberds into one of the razor tusks, and my thinking is, if I beat it and if I kill him and overrun goes straight, I think I can get out of line of sight of his big block of wild horns. Otherwise, I can just reform it. If he charges me, he'll be sitting in the water, won't be steadfast, and yeah, you never know what might happen there. Then I charge my buff mobile into this chariot, and my thinking is, I don't think I'm going to kill it, and I think he's going to hold, and it's just going to clog up his lines, and his big group of big bus of wild horns are just going to be sitting there. But I couldn't do it without going through the water, and I failed my dangerous terrain and took 3 wounds. Damn it. By this point, I think a lot of times at the end of deployment, if you feel like you've screwed up, then you're just screwed. At this point in the game, I'm feeling like I'm just kind of screwed up left and right. That's when you find yourself doing less than optimal things. I'd rather be shooting the monsters, but I can't afford that chariot charging my cannon, so I shoot at it, kill the chariot. And let's see. Then I usually like to just to finish things off, so I shoot at the Gortak, and I do another couple wounds to him, so he's sitting on only 2 left, and then the steam tank shoots at the Jabberwock and does 3 wounds to it. So again, it's not like it was in previous games where you could roll a 6 on a d6 and kill stuff outright, but at least I feel like I'm getting these monsters whittled down to where they're manageable in combat. I have no idea what I'm going to do about his blocks of troops. I have no idea whatsoever. After combat, halberds couldn't do a single wound to the darn razor tusk. He flees center to center, kind of goes to that odd angle, and I reform. And I don't know what I was thinking at this point, because I should have reformed so if that unit charged me, they'd be sitting in the water. But I reformed in a way that they can charge me and not be in the water. I don't know. Don't ask. I have no idea. And then you can see my Buffmobile charges that chariot, and yeah, I do some wounds to it, but I don't kill it. I didn't think I would, and he kills my Buffmobile. That sucks. That didn't work at all. There's nothing about that worked. So you go to Beastard's turn 2. Really, really surprised me on the right when he charges the flank of my halberds with the other Razor Tusk. Well, it doesn't surprise me too much because he also charged that unit with the his bus of Wild Horns, and they failed it. Thank goodness. I think they needed a 10. So had he made that in there, that would have just blown things up on my right-hand side. As it is, I'm not worried about that. The Razor Tusk, I know whenever I play the Razor Tusk, I would never charge it into a big block because it just fails to hit and then kind of bounces. His chariot charges my small unit of militia has my battle standard bearer and and a spellcaster. Not actually too worried about this because the impact hits will kill cheap troops I don't care about. And then my battle standard bearer has a great weapon, so he's going to get to attack. He'll probably put all his attacks on my wizard. He may kill him. And then I'm thinking my battle standard bearer should be able to do the last remaining wound on that chariot. Let's see, if you look on the left, it looks like something charged my my rangers. They fled through the unit over there. And of course my BSB is nowhere near them, but luckily they passed their panic. I think they rolled a 9 for it just to scare me. And I think his Gortak then redirected into my knight unit and failed it. I was actually kind of hoping he would make it because it only has 2 wounds left, and I'd like to be able to kill him while I have the chance. And I think my knight commander has a decent chance of getting 2 wounds, and if not, I could always sneak a wound through with everything else I have. On the far left, a giant charges the flank of my steam tank. I thought that was an interesting matchup. And this is, oh, yeah, he didn't have 2 units of ambush. He had 3 units of ambushers, and one of them couldn't ambush before. So this unit's coming on the far right just to secure an objective. Again, I didn't bring enough models because I didn't know his list. I just brought the list that I've been using. So he's just using the dead chariot base and putting short horns on it as they die. So that's what that is. Yeah, so there's that. Yeah, there's that failed charge. Oh my gosh. Now this I'm really intrigued about because I can grind with the steam tank, I think on my turn and my opponent's player turn, and 3d3 grinding attacks at strength 6, that's brutal against a giant. So unless he's rolls something really wonky, which he can, I'm very confident I can win that. Then we get the shooting phase, and the Centaur Chieftain does his hit anything on a 3-up bolt thrower and kills 2 knights. Yeah, kills 2 of my knights. I felt that was to be expected. And then over here, so I grind on that giant. I do all wounds but 1. And I want to say he does the thing to me that I can't attack next time. So I'm like, okay, that sucks. I think that's what he did. I know I've taken 1 or 2 wounds. Not being able to attack next time, that thing just holding me up. That really sucks. And after combat, so the chariot kills a bunch of my militia. Then he allocates his attacks on my wizard and can only do 1 wound, which I thought was weird. I thought I should have killed him. And then my battle standard bearer killed the chariot. And then over here, I want to say, I didn't show this before. These mongrels that ambushed behind my lines to the right charged my small unit militia and beat them and ran them down. And over here, I did maybe a wound, maybe not, and we all stuck in combat. I just reformed. So, Empire of Sonnstahl turn 3. I don't know how I'm going to survive this mess. The problem is, I don't have anything that I want to really take into his big bus of wild horns. I mean, my Imperial Guard on the left, I would love to get a flank charge on him, no doubt, but he has things set up. He actually backed up his Minotaurs. I thought that was really interesting, but it was a smart conservative play because basically I want to charge his Gortak with my knights, but if I do, I will get countercharged by the Minotaurs, and there's nothing I can do about it, and the Minotaurs will tear these guys up. So one option I could do is do that and then set up to where if he charges the Minotaurs and my knights, I flee and just hope that I bounce through things, but that's kind of dangerous, and there's a lot of points in that unit. So yeah, I think I tried to charge anyway. I think that's my plan, is charge them, and then set up for a flee through the Imperial Guard. And yeah, they fail the charge. So we go to shooting, and I kill that thing anyway through shooting. So that's nice. That's the problem, of course, with using the list like he has. You have to get into combat. Now he wasn't playing defensively with that monster. He tried to get in. He just failed the charge. But yeah, so that's dead. And yeah, we killed the Razor Tusk and just reform. I don't really love that no matter what. And then I can't read that die, but I couldn't attack him, and he just did some more wounds. Or I could attack him and I fluffed. I forgot what happened there. All right, so we go to Beast Herds turn 3. His big bus of Wild Horns charges my halberds, and I just flee. I want none of that. They redirected my knights and failed it, which I kind of thought they would. Let's just get to the individual picture. So there's that. I lose half the unit. So dangerous terrain test, you fail in a 1 through 3 if you fail it while fleeing through a building or enemies. So lost half my unit, but they're only going to rally on a 3 or 4. But my thinking was, if he charges me, he's going to demolish that unit, and then he might catch him. And if he doesn't catch him, I have to run through that building anyway. I'm still going to lose half the unit, and there's still going to be rallying on 3 or 4. So I didn't really see the downside of doing what I did. His Jabberwock, he kind of flew around to the left. I actually did shoot. Wasn't ignoring them there. I shot at it and just kind of fluffed it. And so he charges in on this cannon. I think he is playing this model perfectly. I really, really appreciate how he's using this guy in his special rules. The Minotaurs have that plus D6 the turn they charge. He got the totem off, and they make this long ball charge. I think he needed a 10. It wasn't that long ball. These guys, I predict they're gonna kill this steel tank. They're gonna have to overrun, and my Imperial Guard are gonna get to charge them in the flank. Even at that, they have 5 attacks each plus stomp. They still may win that. If they don't win it, I can beat them, overrun, hit the giant, and the steam tank it'll be worth losing it. So the Centaur Chieftain shoots his mobile bolt thrower again and kills another couple knights. That is a good knight killer, by the way. And then disaster happens. Oh my gosh. So my steam tank, I kill the giant because I just need to get it nice and dead. He could have done some wounds to the Minotaurs, but he wasn't going to do whatever. He wasn't going to kill him, certainly. So they charge in, of course. They do all their attacks. They get the steam tank down to, I want to say 1 wound or something. And yeah, and then I think the steam tank and the giant swing at the same time. The giant kills it, and the steam tank kills the giant. So because the steam tank died within 6 inches of the Imperial Guard, they had to take a panic test, and they failed it. And they failed it because of the Jabberwock. I needed a 9 because I have my general nearby, and they were reduced down to 8, and I rolled a 9, and they ran right off the table. Big unit of Imperial Guard with the preacher in there. That hurts. That hurts so bad. Yeah, ouch. Ouch, ouch. Jabberwock easily kills the cannon and then overruns into the flank of my knights. My opponent knows that my knight commander is probably going to kill this guy, but what he does in doing this is he holds my knights in place, and on my opponent's next turn, his Wild Horns with his general is going to be able to charge my knights, and there's nothing I can do about it. We go to Empire of Sonnstahl turn 4. BSB charges the Shorthorns on the right. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on, folks. Yeah, there's that. And wait, let's go back one. Yeah, so there's 7 of those guys, and now there's 5. So I do 2 wounds to them with the charge and a banner. They have a banner, of course, and they don't care. They just stick around. Oh, and they do a wound to my guy. He's got a 1-up armor save. They hit him, and he fails. It rolls a 1, and they stick, which sucks. These guys kill the Jabberwock, but too little too late. Here come his Wild Horns in there with his Beast Lord and his BSB. Now, my opponent has Lore of Death, right? So any spell he casts, he can pick a unit. That unit has -1 leadership. I'm just really glad the Jabberwock is gone, because that would have been automatic -1 for fear, would have been -1 because of his aura, and if any spells go through it. My opponent's getting totems off everywhere he wants it, because I cannot afford a Lore of Death spell to go through. So the Centaur Chieftain charges in here to my BSB. Yeah, that he wrecks face. He dies easily, but when he hits on a charge, he's strength 7 reroll into hit. BSB doesn't stand a chance. I don't think these guys stand a chance either, to be honest. And not sure what that's showing, except that his Razor Tusk is just marching up. So now my back line, there's really not a whole lot I can do there. And yeah, so the Centaur Chieftain kills my BSB and runs off the table. My knights fail all their armor saves. They fail to wound anything. I think I did 2 wounds total. My opponent wins by a ton, and he breaks that unit. I'm like, okay, well, we just call the game here because you're gonna absolutely table me at this point. So that was fun. I think my biggest complaint was that I wasn't familiar enough with the new Empire of Sonnstahl army book to play it well. My deployment was awful, and I just could have given my opponent a better game. So I just need to play a few games with it, and I don't want to do that until the updated rules come out because I just hate having to relearn stuff. But that being said, I found the Beast Herds army. I always find it fun to play with, and I found this very fun to play against. They have their weaknesses, but man, they have just little things that really hurt. These little units that can ambush by themselves don't do a whole lot, but you have to take them into account. I was shooting his monsters left and right, but his monsters, still did enough. And then his infantry got to my lines totally unscathed and won the day for him. So anyway, that's it for the game. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video, you can favorite it, you can share it, and of course you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.